If you were looking to get into sublimation printing, what type of printer ink, and printer paper do you need, along with some other things to get started? That is what I'm going to be talking about in this quick and easy sublimation starter guide. Hey, what is going on? The Printer Guy here, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about some of the essential items you will need to purchase if you're looking to get into sublimation printing. If this video ends up being helpful, please make sure to like the video. Any questions at all, comment below, and if you want more content like this, please make sure to subscribe. Also, there will be product links down in the description below for every product I end up talking about here in this video. Also, there will be video chapters down below this video, so you can skip around if you need to, but I always recommend you watch the entire video. So when it comes to sublimation printing, not every printer will work. You need a printer that uses a micro piezo print head. That is a specific type of print head that will allow sublimation ink to really permeate onto sublimation paper. So laser printers, thermal printers, all those type of printers are not going to work with this setup. That's because sublimation ink is thicker and it's more heat sensitive, so it needs this special type of print head. So the best type of inkjet printer that you can use for sublimation ink is the Epson EcoTank lineup, and that can really be said of really most of the Epson EcoTank printer models, going from the Epson EcoTank 2400 all the way up to the Epson EcoTank 16000 model, which is a wider format Epson EcoTank printer. And of course, there are the Epson EcoTank printers in between there. I'm going to be leaving 3 different options to Epson EcoTank printers down in the description below, so you can take a look at some of the different specs, take a look at the pricing, and see which one may fit your needs. Of course, if you need larger print sizes, the Epson EcoTank 15000, 16000 models are really going to be what you would need to end up getting for those larger print sizes. Now, these Epson EcoTank printers require conversion. You may already have an Epson EcoTank printer and you can do a conversion. I do have a video showing you how to do that here on my channel. I'll link that video down in the description below. But basically, all you would need to do if you bought one of these Epson EcoTanks new is you would not install the regular ink and install sublimation ink right from the beginning, and you would have a sublimation printer. It really doesn't get easier than that. If you already have an Epson EcoTank printer with regular ink already installed, you can just do a conversion. There is a process there, but it is possible. Now, if you want to skip the conversion process, you can get a Sawgrass SG500 or a Sawgrass SG1000. Those are sublimation printers that are already set up for sublimation printing and will come with sublimation ink. There's also a lot of different features on there that will make sublimation printing easier for you because it's a dedicated sublimation printer. Now, Epson does sell a sublimation printer. There is one model, so you could go with that printer as well, although you may be paying a higher price than if you would have just converted your regular Epson EcoTank printer. So these Sawgrass printers, I'll be leaving links to them down in the description below as well. They're going to be pricier, so if you wanted something that is going to have all the bells and whistles and is already prepped for sublimation printing, you can go with the Sawgrass. If you wanted something that's a little bit more customizable and could be a lot more cost effective, you're going to want to go with the Epson EcoTank models. All right, so now let's talk about the type of ink that you would use. You absolutely will not be able to sublimate with regular ink. Most Epson EcoTank printers either come with a dye-based or a pigment-based ink. Neither of these inks are going to work. You will have to buy sublimation ink. Now, if you're using a Sawgrass, it comes with the sublimation ink. If you're going with the Epson EcoTanks, you will need to buy sublimation ink. And most of the time, it's going to be a third-party sublimation ink product. Here at Best Printers, we do sell sublimation ink. I'll be leaving a link down in the description below. But you have some different options. You have Best Printers, that's our product. You have Hippo, Printer Jack, which has been in business for a long time, Cosmos ink. There's a lot of other third-party sublimation inks out there. These are all great inks. Of course, we always recommend our ink, and that's the one that will be linked down in the description below. But if you'd like to browse some other brands as well, you can use that link to kind of compare our product to other brands. Sublimation ink is pretty similar across the board. There's not going to be many differences aside from price and maybe configuration and, you know, the amount of ink that you're getting. We usually like to keep our prices low for the consumer to be able to afford the sublimation ink and purchase over and over again as needed. Now, with the Best Printers ink and with many of these other inks that are sold on Amazon, Amazon, which is what you will be linked to down in the description below, you can actually get on a subscription. So it will cost you a lot less money if you were to subscribe. So every 3 months, if you were doing a lot of sublimation printing, that may be something that you may want to consider. But you just have to make sure that the ink that you're purchasing is not dye-based or pigment-based, but it is sublimation ink, and it should say sublimation ink in the title. All of the marketing should be geared towards it being used for sublimation printing. If it's missing that sublimation word, obviously it is not sublimation ink. All right, so next you will need sublimation paper. Now it depends on what type of media you are printing on. If you are printing on, let's say, a t-shirt that's a regular white t-shirt, something like this, then there is a specific type of sublimation paper that you will need to use to sublimate onto this color. If you were using a darker color, so like black or some other dark color, there's another type of sublimation paper you would have to use. So you have to know that difference is that there is light colored t-shirt sublimation paper and dark colored t-shirt sublimation paper, and also the type of media that you're using. I got this from Printers Jack. Best Printers currently doesn't sell sublimation paper. When we do, we will let you know, and it will be linked down below. But this is from Printers Jack. Very good product, very well packaged. And this is basically a light colors 120 GSM, and that is the thickness of the sublimation paper you're typically going to be using. 120 GSM. It's going to be like the size of cardstock paper. This cardstock paper is 176 GM squared, so GSM, it's going to be that same number. This cardstock paper actually may be a little bit more thick than the sublimation paper. So all of the Epson EcoTank lineups can handle this cardstock paper, so they will all be able to handle the sublimation paper that you would need to use. Now, this is the sublimation paper. All of this linked down in the description below once again, but this is the sublimation paper you see advertised as being able to sublimate onto darker colored fabrics. You know, this is a pillow, this is a bag, t-shirt, and so you'll be able to sublimate onto darker. If you try to sublimate onto lighter colored, like a lighter colored t-shirt, it will most likely not work, and you need to use the right type of paper for the type of media that you're using. So you have to have in mind what type of media you are going to print on. When I say media, I mean t-shirts, mugs, pillows, whatever it is you're sublimating onto metal signs. You know, with these metal signs, you can sublimate on with that lighter colored sublimation paper. So this light color sublimation paper is what you would need to sublimate onto this metal sign, or, you know, aluminum sign. Now, of course, along with all of these items, you would need some kind of heat. So a heat press like this, and then a heat mat and heat gloves. Also, there's all the little, you know, covers and parchment paper, all those kinds of things for heat. That's another set of things that you will need along with your sublimation setup. And this is one of the more affordable heat presses that you can purchase for about $100. Of course, you can go a lot more expensive and get more features and a better heat press. I'm not really going to talk about where to get designs in this video because it's really just getting you started with this aspect of it. Finding designs is as easy as going on Google, finding a website that has designs either for free, usually it's going to be paid, a monthly subscription. Be careful with a lot of those websites. They will lock you in to a monthly, a non-cancelable subscription. So just be careful with that. But if this is your first time putting together your sublimation setup, you really just want to take it slow, step by step. There's going to be a learning curve, obviously, if you're just getting started. But this video should push you in the right direction. This is not a total and comprehensive video with all the exact, you know, every single detail of what you would need. This is just to get started. Past this, I do have a video with the setup that I was able to put together with a lot of the products that you saw here in this video, and how I was able to actually complete some sublimation projects on t-shirts, on metal sign, and I was really happy with the end result. Now, there's a lot of different things that you need to know with your computer, whether you're using Mac or Windows. You need to know the configuration, the different sizing, and the scaling. You also have to be able to flip the image so that it prints out the right way. So there's a lot involved with sublimation printing, but these are the products you would need. And I might add, you should really check out my video where I was able to put together an entire sublimation setup with a lot of the products you ended up seeing for under $400, $399 exactly is what I was able to pay with Sublimation Ink, best printer Sublimation Ink, with an Epson EcoTank 2400, and with the sublimation paper that you saw, all those smaller products, the heat press, the heat gloves, the parchment paper, all those things. There's heat tape as well that you would need. So all those products are going to be linked down below. This video is not going to be all the instructions you absolutely need, but it will push you in the right direction. You'll be able to see some of the different products that you would need in order to get started. All right, so I really hope this video ended up being helpful. If it was, please make sure to like. Any questions at all about anything I talked about here in this video, feel free to comment below. And if you want more content like this, please make sure to subscribe. But that's really all I have for now. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time. Thank you so much for watching until the end of this video. I handpicked 2 videos that are here on the screen for you to watch next. Also consider subscribing to this channel. There's so much helpful content for you if you're a printer owner, and it's just good to have a resource like this for you in the future, whether you're dealing with a printer that's not printing well or you need more printer recommendations. So I look forward to seeing you again in another video.